Were y'all entertained? What a game. What a game. This is the Airborne Podcast. I'm your host, Ajith. And honestly, that couldn't have gone any better. We get our first back-to-back wins since December when we had that 5-game winning streak. And we set so many franchise records tonight, I lost count. We started with... Well, let's just start with the season high in points and the franchise record in points in a regulation game with 140 points. Career high, or whatever, franchise record, season high, 22 three-pointers. Previous record was 21. You got Terrence Davis coming off the bench and tying his season high with 23 points in 22 minutes. You got Kyle Lowry throwing up FIFA passes in a basketball game and knocking down three-pointers. That's absolutely absurd. But it was really, really fun to watch tonight. And Siakam didn't have his typical game. He only had 12 points. But we didn't need him because OG and Norman Powell played like absolute studs tonight. OG, coming off an amazing game in OKC, continues that same play. And he has 18 points tonight. Norman Powell, coming back from injury, I told you last game he didn't look like he lost a step, and he didn't. He comes back tonight and he's continuing his play, and he scores 28 points tonight with 4 three-pointers, and his three-pointer is looking so flawless right now, and every shot he takes just looks like it's going to go in. Marc Gasol, I tell you time after time how important he is in our game, to our offense. And even though he's been struggling with this shot throughout the season, not tonight. He's been balling since coming back from his injury. He scored 20 points tonight, a career high, 6 three-pointers. And I have nothing bad to say about Marc Gasol. What he's been doing for us on the defensive end through the season, and even the days when he's had bad offensive nights, is absolutely underrated. He's such a key piece to our team and how our offense flows. And with him being on the arc and being an actual threat, he spreads the floor out for people that are slashers like Norman Powell, OG Anunoby, Pascal Siakam, even Kyle Lowry at times, Fred VanVleet. So that's why in my previous video when it said Serge Ibaka is something that is someone we could trade and get a better piece for because his value is at his peak, I meant it. Because if Marc Gasol could stay healthy, then we could replace Serge Ibaka easily. Even though Serge Ibaka, for the season, I'd give him an A- for his play throughout the year. This is probably the best season he's had as a Raptor, probably the best season he's had in his career. But, if this team keeps playing like this, we could beat anyone on any night. And I know the Wizards isn't the best competition right now with all the injuries they got, but we've been smacking the Wizards ever since they swept us in 2015, so whether they're full roster or not, we would beat them on any given night. But back to Marc Gasol. 6 three-pointers on a career high. That's his career high. And he had 20 points tonight. The man was he wasn't hesitating on his shots tonight. Whether it was a mini hook shot in the paint or a three-pointer at the buzzer, he was taking everything he got. He probably could have had a few more attempts and probably would have made a few more threes if some people passed it to him. But it is what it is. We got the W. We smashed them by 33 points at one point. We ended up only winning by 29, I believe. But yeah, I'm gonna break it down from the first quarter down. Let me tell you the score first. So the score for the night to end the game was 140-111. So yeah, that was 29 points. And our bench came in with like 5 minutes and change left in the game. So you knew how bad the game was for the Washington Wizards. We kept Bradley Beal to a season low, I think. He only had 14 points with like 2 rebounds. He was ineffective. He wasn't a factor in the game at all. Ish Smith, who killed us the last time we played, but that was when we were shorthanded, he was nowhere to be found. And Isaiah Thomas looked like he didn't want to be in the game. But Bradley Beal did have some spurts where he hit some threes. He had a 4-point play at one point. I didn't even know what happened on that play because he hit the three. Then they called it a flagrant foul. Then gave him the free throw, and then they gave him back the ball. I didn't understand what happened there. I don't know if that's how it works, but I swear he's supposed to just get another free throw and then we get our possession back. I don't know if y'all caught it, but I did, and I kind of found that a little sketchy, but it is what it is. So for the first quarter, back-to-back games, we scored 38 points. In the first quarter, we scored 38 points. They only scored 26. Second quarter, we come out, we scored 27 points. They scored 25. Then we come out in the third quarter at a halftime, and we go for another 35 points, another 30-point quarter, and they scored 25 points. And then to end the game off, we scored 40 points in that fourth quarter, and they scored 35. All in all, our defense wasn't the best. We did hold them to like 90 points up until the starters came out. I believe like 92-ish points. But then, the rest of the 5 minutes in that fourth quarter were garbage minutes. So it was kind of like, they just let them score whatever they wanted. The game was already out of reach by the end of the third quarter because after Marc Gasol hit that three-pointer at the buzzer, they were up 24. I think it was like 100-76, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, in that first quarter, Marc Gasol comes out. He scores straight 5 points for the Raptors, and the Raptors go on a 14-2 run. And then a Wizards player, Bonga to be specific, ends that run. And then Larry had a nice Euro step tonight. I don't know if you guys caught that, but I saw it and I'm like, ooh, I didn't know he had that in his game. Norman Powell comes in and is effective as soon as he comes into the game. He gets a steal on Isaiah Thomas for a dunk. And Raptors overall, even though it was a 14-2 run, in that time span, it was a total of 18-4. It was an 18-4 run. OG Anunoby was getting steal after steal after steal. It just felt like the Wizards were turning the ball over every second. They had 29 or 28 they had 28 or 29 turnovers tonight. It said 28 sorry. It said 28 on the stat sheet, but when the analyst was talking to Marc Gasol and interviewing him, it said it was 29 turnovers. So I don't know what it is, but either way, it was close to 30 turnovers, so that's not really good. You never win a ball game if you turn the ball over that much or that many times. Larry takes a charge in that first quarter. Well, it didn't count as a charge, but he tried to take one and then he got hurt. I don't know if he banged knees or something like that, but then he went back to the locker room, and I thought he wasn't going to return, but he did, and he looked fine. Audience gave him a standing ovation. And OG had a nice play in that first quarter. He got a steal, threw an alley-oop to Pascal, and Raptors' largest lead in that first quarter was 15. OG was amazing in that first quarter. He had 11 points. Raptors shot 68% from the field. Wizards only shot 42%. And then Raptors shot 36% from beyond the arc in that first quarter. Wizards were shooting 44%, which was not good at that point. And the Raptors had 12 points off of Wizards' 8 turnovers. Wizards only had 4 points off of the Raptors' 6 turnovers. And the Raptors had 9 assists to the Wizards' 6 in that first quarter. And Raptors also had 13 rebounds to the Wizards' 10 in that first quarter. Second quarter, within the first 15 minutes of that game, OG Anunoby and Norman Powell had a total of 27 points in that first 15 to 16 minutes. Norman Powell had 16. Anunoby had 11. Raptors' largest lead in that second quarter was up to 24. Raptors went on a 14-0 run. Wizards did respond with a mini 6-0 run. And then that's when Larry threw up that little soccer FIFA pass, whatever you want to call it. Absurd shot. He was trying to look for the foul, but it went swish right through the net. And he kept looking back at the referee, but the referee gave him no attention. And at that point, the Wizards did respond back after that with another 9-0 run. But the Raptors had 16 assists on 24 field goals made. Raptors shot 56% from the field and 48% from beyond the arc at half. Wizards were shooting 41% from the field and 32% from beyond the arc at the half. So they did, play their defense. They stepped it up and they slowed the Wizards down. We know the Wizards absolutely play no defense, and they're always depending on their offense to win games for them. So we knew that there was no problem to stop them because we're a really good defensive team. So, we're going to come out guns blazing, eyebrows raising, and put these guys, put them down, literally. We're going to put the clamps on them. That's how we work. We've been a good defensive team for the last 3 years. So, we have the defensive players to stop them. And that's what happened tonight. You saw it clearly. Whenever the starters win, the Wizards were having trouble scoring. Unless they drew a lot of fouls. But aside from that, they didn't get a lot of open shots. Raptors scored 17 points off of Wizards' 15 turnovers at the half. And the Wizards only scored 9 points off the Raptors' 9 turnovers at the half. Third quarter comes. Raptors, it was a back and forth affair. It was run after run after run. Wizards went on a run. Raptors went on a run. Wizards went on a run. Raptors went on a run. So the Raptors go on an 8-0 run. Wizards respond with an 8-0 run. Then Raptors respond back with an 8-0 run. And Raptors had 24 points on 34 made field goals in that third quarter, at the end of that third quarter. Raptors were shooting 54% from the field and 46% from beyond the arc through 3 quarters. Wizards shooting 40% from the field and 39% from beyond the arc through 3 quarters. Raptors were killing the Wizards on the fast break points, 32-10. That's how you know their defense was popping. They were getting steals and running out in transition and getting whatever they wanted. They could have got I'd say they could have got another 10, 12 points, but they missed some easy bunnies in transition. And open threes as well. They missed a lot of those. Not a lot, but they missed quite a few. And Raptors had 15 turnovers to the Wizards 22 through 3 quarters. Raptors ended that quarter, the third quarter in specific I'm talking about, with the 9-0 run because I believe, who was it? Marc Gasol hit the last 3 to end the quarter. I think Terrence Davis had one and I think Norman Powell had one. Fourth quarter, though, that run continued from the third quarter, and it was a 12-0 run altogether, dating back to the third quarter, like I said. And then Powell had a dunk on one of the Wizards players. It wasn't really a poster, but he got him. Got him. Oh, man. And like I said, the Raptors had the biggest lead. The biggest lead was 33 points. And I mentioned already that they had a season-high franchise record, 22 threes. Previous record was 21. And they also had a season-high franchise record, 140 points. They also set that last year against the Wizards, ironically. But the last year when they set it, it was around this time. It was on January 13th to be specific. And that was a double overtime game. And Kawhi took that home for us. And I mentioned first back-to-back wins since December when we had that 5-game win streak. Chris Boucher, though, had a nice two-handed dunk. I feel bad for the guy because, he's been playing really well. And now that the starters are back, he's not getting any minutes, so he can't get into rhythm. But that's part of the nature of the business, right? When you have your starters, some guys who were role players that are sitting at the end of the bench, they're going to go back to doing that. Hopefully he'll get some minutes this season, important minutes. If not, maybe next year when our contracts clear up, maybe he'll get an actual legit spot on our team because he plays well for us. He just needs to find a way to play consistently. Raptors end the game with 35 assists for the night. And I told you Wizards turned the ball over 28 or 29 times. Raptors shoot 51% from beyond the arc and 57% from the field for the game. Wizards shoot 45% from the field and 43% from the arc for the game. 43% is still high. They had 15 three-pointers made, 15 of 35 from beyond the arc to be specific. And that's not good, but when it's a blowout like that, it is what it is. you can kind of be like, all right, slap yourself on the wrist and move on, right? Either way, even with those 15 threes, the game wasn't even close. So imagine if their offense was like that, taken how good or how great the Raptors offense had to be to get a 30-point mercy. Let's get into the individual stats, though, because things got crazy. Actually, let's finish off with the team stats first. So I told you the Toronto Raptors were 52 of 91 from the field for 57%. Washington was 40 of 89 for 45%. Raptors from beyond the arc were 22 of 43 for 51%, which is absolutely crazy. Crazy. 51% from three. I think they had something that high against OKC too, or maybe that was just from the field. Free throws, though, we were 88%, 14 of 16 from the line. They were 16 of 23 for 70%. Rebounding, they out-rebounded us 43-41. Offensive rebounds, they out-rebounded us 13-7. Assists, we murked them 35-19, which is almost double. Steals, we had 16-9. Blocks, they beat us 3-2. Turnovers, yeah, they had 29. We had, I think, 19. And fouls, we had 24. They had 16, and then they had a technical. But with the individual stats, I told you about the main guys. I told you OG Anunoby in 26 minutes had 18.6 rebounds, 2 assists, 8 of 13 from the field, no free throw attempts, 2 of 6 from 3, and he had 4 steals, 4 turnovers. Norman Powell, coming off the bench in 30 minutes, had 28 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 10 of 17 from the field, 4 of 5 from the free throw line, 4 of 9 from the three-point line with 3 steals, a block, and a turnover. Terrence Davis, 24 minutes off the bench, 23 points, 7 rebounds. 23 points, like I said, was a season high. 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 9 of 16 from the field. No free throw attempts, 5 of 7 from 3, and 3 turnovers. Kyle Lowry didn't have his best game tonight. Don't blame him because everyone else had it going. But he had like 4 assists to start the game. Ended off the night with 8 assists. In 22 minutes, he had 11 points, 3 rebounds, like I said, 8 assists, 4 of 9 from the field, 1 of 1 from the free throw line, 2 of 6 from the three-point line with 2 steals and a turnover. Marc Gasol, absolute stud tonight, player of game. Sorry. English, please. Player of the game could go to either Norman Powell or Marc Gasol or OG Anunoby. If you're a Raptors fan, whoever you like, you can pick. But all of those guys are flawless tonight, and all of them deserve an A++++. Ibaka, 26 minutes. His double-double streak ended last game, but he had 15 and 8 tonight. 15 points, 8 rebounds, and assists, 6 from 9 for the field, 2 of 2 from the free throw line, 1 of 2 from the three-point line with the turnover. Pascal Siakam, still coming back from injury. 25 minutes, 12 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 of 9 from the field, 5 of 6 from the free throw line, 1 of 3 from the three-point line, 2 steals, 1 turnover. He doesn't look like the same player he was before the injury, but sometimes those groin injuries, they tend to linger. So maybe he's still feeling some type of after effect. But we shall see. We have another game tomorrow against Minnesota. So we'll see if he can come out and perform for that. But those are the main guys that really perform for the Raptors. For the Wizards, the best player for them tonight was Troy Young. He's stat-padded. How do you say it? He was out there in the garbage minutes, and he was basically getting his stats up. He had 22 points, 8 rebounds and assists, 9 of 13 from the field, 2 of 3 from the free throw line, 2 of 4 from the three-point line, 3 steals, 2 turnovers in 26 minutes. David Bertans, he's had one of the worst 2 games against us in terms of shooting. I think he's like maybe 5 of like 22 or 23 from the field or from three-pointer. From beyond the arc, he's like 5 of 25 or 5 of 23. But in 28 minutes, he had 12 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 of 13 from the field, 3 of 4 from the free throw line, 3 of 11 from the three-point line, 1 steal, 1 block, 4 turnovers. Ish Smith, 32 minutes, 12 points, 3 rebounds, 8 assists, 5 of 9 from the field, He had a free throw attempt, missed it. 2 of 2 from the three-point line. 1 steal, 3 turnovers. Bradley Beal, actually he ended off the game 23 minutes with 14 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists. Actually, no, I did say 14 points before. Yeah, so 14 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, 4 of 12 from the field, 3 of 3 from the free throw line, 3 of 6 from the three-point line with 1 block and 3 turnovers. Isaac Bonga, though, he had a double-double. 29 minutes, 17 and 10. 17 points, 10 rebounds, no assists, 6 of 9 from the field, 3 of 3 from the free throw line, 2 of 2 from the three-point line, 1 steal, 2 turnovers. And everyone else was absolutely trash. The guy that Norman Powell had a dunk on, his name was Pasicniks or something like that. He was a European player, 7'1". They picked up off, I don't know where he came from, but that's the guy that Norman Powell dunked on, if y'all wanted to know. But yeah, that's it for the game. Hope y'all enjoyed it. It was a great game to watch. If you guys enjoyed this podcast, hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed already, subscribe to the channel. Support your boy. Show your boy that love. And we'll see you back here for the Minnesota Timberwolves podcast, post-game podcast. Hopefully we'll get a W there. Problem is, Towns is back. I don't know what it is with these players. They just come back whenever they play the Raptors, no matter who we play. The best player, if he's injured, he'll be out for like 10 games. But for some reason, when he sees the Raptors on the schedule, he's like, yeah, coach, I'm ready. Put me in. But yeah. Till then, like I said, don't forget. One more thing. Don't forget. Vote for Kyle Lowry, Fred VanVleet, Pascal Siakam. I'm going to be saying this until we can't vote no more because we got to get these guys into the All-Star game. As Raptor fans, that's what we do. We did it for DeMar DeRozan. We did it for Kyle Lowry. We're doing it for Pascal Siakam. And we know Pascal's going to get in because he has 2 million votes right now. He's the second leading vote getter. He passed Joel Embiid. So let's just get Kyle Lowry and Fred VanVleet in. We can't let Kemba Walker beat him out, even though he probably will. But we got to try our best to get their votes up. Let's do it. As fans, let's do our best to get them in. But till then, stay blessed, stay woke, and peace!